get into it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I'll get into anything.
Alrighty. Well, we are recording, so we can jump in with the very first question. Um, what are some things you want to do before high school ends? It's senior year.
That's interesting. Do you already have an idea of what you want to?
Well, one of my dreams was to, you know, have a classic muscle car. The '69
Oh,
Cougar. I've always loved it. I've always really wanted one, and just
yeah. Well,
haven't got the
technically,
chance to
your
buy
truck,
one.
your truck is a type of classic.
It is. It is. It's
Same
classic
with
muscle,
mine.
I'd say. It
Yeah.
definitely fits. It looks classy. It rides
So you didn't
good.
necessarily fail.
I didn't fail, but
Yeah.
it's okay. It's better that I didn't have that, because ultimately, if I did pay for that, car insurance would go up. I would be
Yes.
focusing more on trying to pay off the car than, say, buying a house, because
Yeah, gas would
ultimately
be
the house would
crazy.
be more important. Yeah, that's another thing too. Gas is really expensive right now. We're seeing it everywhere. It's
Oh,
pretty bad.
one of my goals, I set it this year to be fair, and I know it's like going to be super hard to complete, and it's not more of like a I must complete this. It was more of like a I would love to get here if I could with all the time and work that I put into it. It was running a 2:01 800 meter, which is the school record. I'm
Mhm.
not far off on it, but it's a little out of reach for the amount of time I have because it's
Yeah.
super hard to do that in just 1 year. It's crazy hard. Um,
It's not impossible though. I mean, it can
yeah,
be done.
I mean, I haven't been able to run for the last 2 years practically.
Mm. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, I would love to beat. I just want my name up on the board, so I don't really mind. I mean, I would love to break the shot put distance as far as throwing goes, but
Mhm.
shot is a very difficult
You have to be really
task.
big
Yeah,
to get that. It really
it's
depends on
definitely
your body
more for
type.
linemen.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say it's like a lineman's game. If you're
Um, my
really
s-
big and just tough like that, you can definitely throw.
yeah. Uh, like Dylan, you don't even have to have muscle. You just need to be big because the weight of your arm pushes it forward,
Yeah.
which is kind of interesting. But um, my second goal, I put this up on eighth grade, which is what, 4 or 5 years ago, 4 years ago.
Hmm.
Um, my original goal was to get A's and B's in every class, and I've completed that so far.
Yeah, that's
I've never
good.
gotten a C, but I think the lowest average I have in one of my classes is I think it was an 84, and that
Shoot,
was by
yeah, that's
far the
good.
lowest. So those were really just the only goals I had.
Yeah, that's always a good grade or a good goal to have is to keep a high grade, and I've tried to focus on that. And as the years have progressed, I've started caring a little less because I've started focusing on a million different things.
Yeah.
But I still try to, place my priorities in order.
Yeah, right now it's just kind of like I'm walking through classes. I'm not like really, really, really trying, but I do get like the grade that I need or want, so it's not like I have to try more. So I'm right where I'm at. Did you have another one?
Um, well, let's see. We covered the car. Mhm. Already taking college classes, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We'll
Since
be able
what,
to
10th
finish
grade?
college, yeah, 10th grade, started
Yeah.
college classes. I'm very proud of that. Um, High school though is very, very slow. Um, you know, Today kind of killed me. It was so just boring. I was thinking about different work I could be doing and
Yeah.
100 different things I have to do. And, from 8 o'clock to like 5 o'clock, it's, I just can't work the way I want to. I could research, and
It's kinda
researching is
like
very good, but
my
I just
mind is
can't
just
work.
foggy during that time.
I know. I
It's kinda
always
like
feel
it's
miserable.
programmed to just stare out in space.
Yeah, I would say
So,
so.
what was your biggest accomplishment? Is that in high school or just in your life in general?
Um, that's a tough one. In general, I would say it was probably just deciding to take the next step of self-improving, or self-improvisation. I believe
Yeah.
that's the word I'm looking for. Just deciding that I wasn't happy where I was and I wanted to get better at everything I do. Um,
Yeah.
I want to feel like I have more freedom. And then as far as high school, I would say getting in shape was probably my biggest accomplishment. Um, Middle school, I was a little on the heavy side. And then ninth grade, I started cross country and sheared that off. I got taller, I cut my hair, and that of course led to more attractiveness from females, and that was nice.
Lies,
I don't
lies.
know, 100%, man, 100%. I'm gonna have to cut my hair again soon, which I don't like to do, but it's that time again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Mine's actually really similar. I know it's a little early to be asking like that question in our lives. Like we haven't really been able to do much, but I feel like self-improvement is a really big one because if you lack that, then you're just going to become the same average person that doesn't ever have an opinion. Um, they're not really in shape. They eat whatever they want. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have those habits and qualities that you could form. So I actually think I also am going to use that one as mine for a life so far because it does take a long while to get in your head, hey, I really want to do this. It's gonna suck, but I really do want to do this.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And
It's not easy.
for high school, let's see, I have one funny one and one serious one, I think. So my funny one is my ability to do ice baths.
Mm. Yeah, I've seen video of that.
Um,
I don't I could take a cold shower after a workout, but a ice
yeah.
bath is not something I'm interested in.
Going back to self-improvement, I hate ice baths. Like I haven't taken one in my life, and when I heard of somebody taking it for fun or just to get your body going or because you need to, I kind of laughed. But honestly, to get like the discipline you need to have and the mindset that you need to push through, I haven't taken them so recently. I've taken a couple, but and it helps with running, so it helps with your body. Um, but I hate doing that so bad, but I've kind of pushed through it
Yeah,
for quite a while.
I need some kind of ulterior motivation to do something like that. Like,
Yeah.
do this and you get this, and it'd have to be, something I care about.
Mm.
Because unless I'm, just absolutely dying and I have to take an ice bath, I don't think I ever will.
Yeah, it definitely sucks the first time, but then when you get out, it feels like really good because you get so much energy.
Mm,
But
yeah, I bet. How'd
my
you,
second one was kind of like what you said. I really wanted to, and it could be one of my goals that I set in ninth grade. I wanted to bench 135 and squat 225
oh
by
yeah.
my senior year. And so far, I've accomplished both of those a year early, which is great. But I was really, really small when I got into high school, and
Mhm.
a lot of people actually picked on me. Um, and I wanted that to change, so I just kind of did a character change and a physical change throughout the grades. So I feel like I did good on that. I still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
Um, it's not like I want a perfect body for no reason. I mean, you could do stuff like pick up way heavier
Mhm.
things. You're just more in shape.
I would say, yeah, you know, getting in shape is huge. Since you hit that goal last year, what do you have for this year? Seeing as how we still have a couple months left.
Yeah, that's kind of hard. I hit 140 last year. I have a
Mhm.
video on my channel, but this year I really think that I could get 180 because last year I just didn't have any chest, and I've been all summer like I just grinded chest exercises. Um, so I'm not like buff, but
Dang.
um,
180 though,
I
that's good. Where are you at right now?
I am about near like 150, and I have a full semester to get there. And the teacher peaks us, so we get peaked while we do it.
Yeah,
But
that's
for
good.
squat, I don't know. I've always dreamed to get 315, but I kind of think that's not going to happen in high school because that's crazy. Um, Even though I've seen like four people do it,
Yeah, I've seen a
um,
couple.
I think getting two plates and maybe a 25 on each side would be a good goal, but that's like
So
50 pounds
275.
moving up. Yeah, that's 50 pounds
Yeah.
moving up. So
Well, that's still
I,
real good. As far as bench goes, I was sitting at 145 last time I maxed, and that's been a while.
yeah,
I guess
I
that's
maxed
been
a year and a half ago.
six, four now, 4 or 5 months, maybe. I don't know. It's been
Yeah.
a long time, if not a year. It could have very easily been 8 months to a year. So I don't know. I feel like I've improved. I would love to hit. Uh, well, you said 180. I'll say 180 as well. 180 is a good goal to aim for. Um,
Yeah, it's not too high, but it pushes a
yeah,
little.
yeah, it's a good goal to aim for. So I'm curious, are you happy with your current body weight? If you don't mind me asking.
Um, well, I'm not like a woman. I'm not gonna yell or scream at you about that, but mom's shaking her head right now. But I honestly, it really just depends. For running wise, I'm right on the spot. I'm right where I should be on a weightlifting standard. I'd like to be heavier.
Yeah, I
And
hear
in
you.
general, like if I wasn't a runner and if I was just walking down the street, I generally would want to be like 180 because a
Yeah,
muscular
180 is where I want
person,
to be. Right there, 180.
yeah, a muscular person at 180 is like just enough. You're not too heavy, you're not too light.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I'm 162 right now,
Hey,
so I'm
that's
not
better
like,
than me. I'm sitting at 150.
yeah, that's not bad. I mean, I know I got a lot of muscle on me. Most of it's my legs, and I have some, body fat and not too much, but I don't know. I guess I'd like to grow more muscle. It would
Oh yeah,
help
definitely.
with
You,
speed
you have to
and
train
power.
for it though. That's the biggest
Yeah.
thing is consistency in the gym,
Hmm.
working out every day, making sure you have a focused and clear workout plan. Because and regarding what we'd like to do before high school ends, I'd love to get a six pack. I've kind of pushed for it. I know I could if I really grinded, and it comes down to the kind of build I want. Do I want to be more lean or more built?
Yeah.
And
And that's lucky about me. I have one. I mean, I get afraid sometimes that I'm gonna lose it, and sometimes I do, but it shows up best when you're dehydrated if you didn't know.
yeah, I've never had one. I
But
mean,
that's something you trade.
I've got like a baseline, but it's not as defined as I'd like for it to be. But
Yeah.
overall, I'd say it's fairly well. I wouldn't say average. I'd say it's above average, just decent looking, especially after a workout. That post pump, it always looks real good. I try to
Mine
hit core a
never
lot.
yeah, mine never really changes after workout. It's not like 3% body fat defined, but it is like you could see separate
Yeah,
areas.
well, that's my
But
thing. Is
that's
like,
also something you have to trade is when you get heavier up to like 180, you might be able to keep one if you already have it or build one. It's just going to be harder.
yeah,
Because usually the more muscle mass you hold in other areas, it's just less likely for you to get a sharper pair of abs.
yeah. Well, it kind of comes down to like what I was thinking is, I don't mind regarding the kind of build I have. I'd rather have the strength than the look. So, I'd rather be able to
Yeah.
do more than have the, oh, he looks good type deal. So I know my core can do it. I've done all kinds of core workouts and feel great. I can keep up, if not do more than most everyone else. So
Yeah.
I'd say it's fairly well as far as strength wise goes. But it's always nice, you take off your shirt, you see a six pack there. That's just like you had to work for that, and it's an accomplishment.
Yeah. I was listening to Andrew Tate on some of his videos, and he said if you're not born rich and you get rich, you appreciate it. But if you're born rich and you stay rich, you just got a boring life. You never really
Yeah.
truly appreciate it.
I've thought about
I've
that.
um
I was
I've
like
had
the saddest thing that could happen to me was been to have been born rich, because then my drive would be, nowhere near what it is to
yeah,
strive for success. And there was actually a story I heard, and it was some people who worked to get rich met a rich kid, and this rich kid would go out and he'd get slam drunk, he'd get high all the time. You didn't see him, he wasn't drunk. And they asked him, they said, "Why do you do this?" And he looks at him and he goes, "Imagine that you work for something, and even if you fail, you know you're gonna get it because you're already rich." It's like he knows he's going to get it, so why even bother trying? And if he fails, he still gets it. So he just has no reason to even push himself to try to do better, so he just fell into alcoholism and drugs. And I could really see where it's coming from, because it's like, imagine, you're gonna get something, why would you put in more work? It's like, I'd say how communism works, everyone gets the same thing,
yeah,
why should I work harder than the next guy? And, if it's just being handed out, it's not an achievement, and that's where I think the difference is. For a man, you have to work and build yourself. You can't have someone else make you, essentially. Um, you have to find what works for you and what you enjoy, and if someone gets it or gives it to you, you can't appreciate it.
yeah. And that goes in the same way of if you're uh if you're born with abs, I know it's a little stupid to say, but if you're
Oh,
like
I've seen it.
15 and you have abs when you're like super young, you don't truly appreciate them. And I realized this because I had some when I was super young, and then they went away because I was eating trash.
Mm.
and then I earned them back, and because I earned them back, I never really knew how hard they were to get and maintain. But I will say that if you do get them and grind to that area, maintaining is way easier.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. And, yeah, I know a guy who was born with them. I think he still has them. But, yeah, he's a little smaller. I've tried to get him in the gym. You know, he has the abs somehow by or from birth up. And I was like, man, you gotta get in the gym. If you could work out and maintain muscle like that, he could kill if he got in the gym. 100%.
Yeah, and I'm actually weaker than a lot of people, even though I look bigger. I might be more defined, but because I'm defined, I'm a little weaker in that instance because I was, skinny. And usually skinny people have abs, right? Because they're
Yeah.
skinny, they don't have any body fat. But when you start gaining muscle when you were or used to be skinny, I don't know, it's just a different build from if you were like that one guy that had like a really big beer belly and then had like a John Cena build. It's completely different because those guys are like super buff, whereas the skinny guys get, I guess you could say ripped, but not ripped, like a skinny version of ripped.
Yeah. Well, I was like, I know a lot of people because I'm skinny when I'd play football and, would be, joking or talking about our abs or whatever. People would always look at me expecting to see them. I'd raise my shirt up and be like, it's not there yet. And a lot of people are just surprised because of, my build, but
Yeah.
abs have just been something I've never really focused on. I've always
Yeah,
been like, "Oh,
it'll
it'll be
come.
nice to have them," and then it's kinda like, you know, if it comes down to, like, once again, strength or looking good, I'm gonna choose strength. I feel like they're strong and I work on them a lot, and if, you know, they're not coming out from the work I'm putting in, um, then maybe
It
genetically it's just not the greatest
Yeah,
thing
and it
because I
doesn't
know
mean that you
some
don't
people have
have it.
yeah, I know some people have, like, great genetics, look fantastic, and then other people just can't do it. I mean, they just physically can't no matter how hard they work out.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I can't get them because 'cause I'm confident I could. It's just not as natural.
I gotta go get something real quick. So I'm gonna take a little 3-minute break. Don't tell them any of my secrets, my deep dark secrets.
Alright, I'll grab some water. I'll be back as well.
Alrighty. I'm back, boys. All right, let's see. Matthew's deepest, darkest secret. Hmm. His middle name is Jordan. If anyone sees this or hears this, Matthew's middle name is Jordan. Comment in the description below. We need a name caller. Guys, tell me, is Dodge or Chevy better?
Chevy.
Dang it. I thought you were gone.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
Man, I'm just my allergies are bad from this. I
Mm.
eat stuff hot. I eat hot stuff and it's
Ooh, I
my allergies
love
flare.
spicy. All right, so next question. I'd say we've spoken on that for long enough. What sports did you do during high school, or what
All
sports are you
right.
currently doing?
Well, in seventh grade, which is when we used to begin sports in seventh grade, um, and I did band, hated it, and then moved towards track and cross. And I've been in track and cross for 6 years, and it's kind of been great, been on the grind. I used to hate running. Everyone's like, "Well, what do you like running? Running for fun. You guys are on crack." And in a way that's right. Like you can't run by yourself and love every day of it. That's why the like professional Olympic athletes, they train in groups. Like that's the whole point is to talk with your group, make that bond with your group because you see them every day. You work out with them, they know how it feels, you know how it feels, and it kind of like forms a specific weird bond.
Yeah, I've heard no bond is better than one made through pain. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why the military is so close to one another. A real band of brothers is just going through boot camp together. You go through so much crap it where it just puts you in a bond that would be closer than even family.
Yeah, and in a way, it actually is true. Not saying that we push as hard as the Army does, but um, if you didn't know, we actually did just get a coach from the Army, which is kind of cool. Now
Mhm.
that we're saying stuff about this, but I think because the let's say if I'm feeling pain and you're feeling pain at the same time, and it's somewhat near the same pain, but yet we're still pushing through. We it's kind of like a competition to
Oh,
see
yeah, absolutely.
who's going to break and how strong you are compared to them. It always makes you push harder, and that's actually how I started to get the grind of business because um I was always having to compete against the people in my team, and always wanted to run longer, faster. I wanted to be more shape. I wanted to be easier. Um, and in a way that kind of like spreaded the fire towards uh, my wanting to build a business one day.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's the same thing. I mean, businesses represents runners who can get to the finish line first, or who can get to the goal, um, who can get that customer. And
Yeah, I
it's
would say
it's
a mile,
very similar.
reaching that mile, milestone, I guess.
Yeah. Got that first million.
Mhm.
What about you?
So through middle school, I didn't really play any sports. I did strings. I played the cello for 4 years, and then I started cross country in the summer of ninth grade, freshman year, and I practiced all summer. Went through cross country, and it was pretty fun. Cross country is a very tough sport, and I enjoyed it for a while, and I feel like I could have gotten really good at it had I stuck with it. And there are times I wish I did, but I didn't wind up doing it. So I've done cross country for 2 years, track for this will be my fourth year, and I played football for 2 years, and you know, debating and trying to decide between continuing cross country or deciding to play football. It was an interesting choice, but due to track and throwing like I have been, I decided I would work out in the weight room, and football was in the weight room, and I was in there working out with those guys for 2 or 3 weeks, and coach finally came up to me, said, "You playing football?" And, my parents hated the idea of me playing football at first, and they're like, "Oh, no, you shouldn't do that." And then coach is just like, "Have you got anything going on over the summer?" I said, "No." So, you know, worked out with football for the 5, 6 months that we do, and then summer practice started. It was, um, you know, awful. I mean, I was at the school every single day of the summer, break, and, we had two dead weeks off, holidays we had off, but otherwise we were there, and, I gotta say it was probably one of the best things I've done regarding sports. And I really do love football. I look back on it and I miss it sometimes. I just wish I was able to do more for the team. I mean, it was a lot of fun though, and the bond we did build with everyone just from working out and absolutely killing ourselves together. It was
Yeah.
it was always interesting and it's fun. You can look at those guys and you might not have talked to all of them, but you all have a subtle respect for each other for just doing what had to be done when it needed to be done. And you can just see how much effort someone put in and you respect those who care and those who don't, you just have to
Yeah.
tolerate them.
Tell 'em about your nickname,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
how you got it.
So Uh, started off, I could say cross country. I had a early nickname. I always wear my black cowboy hat. And so first it started off as being cowboy, and that was it for a little while. And I still have one friend who does call me cowboy. Um, when I see her, but I don't see her very often. And then it started probably sophomore year, and it got really big during the beginning of January of junior year, and it became Blue Jeans. And I love that nickname. I think I'll
You
always be Blue Jeans to all the football players. Um,
hear how you got it?
yeah, it was just straight up. Um, I hated to wear shorts, so I would go into the weight room wearing blue jeans and you know, a t-shirt, whatever.
Mhm.
So I would work out in blue jeans. I would keep up with everyone. I could work right next to everyone. I could do same weight as everybody else. Um, and I could push myself. And I had a guy actually come up to me, and one of the most meaningful things anyone said to me was at the end of the year, our last football game, October 28th of 2022. He said, "You don't know how much you really did and how much you mean, so you should feel accomplished." And that
Yeah.
was one of the greatest things that made that entire season worth doing. And I'll probably always stick with that and remember him for that. And I don't think he'll ever really know how much that meant because it was a rough season. It was tough.
Yeah.
We had a lot of unfortunate and stupid mistakes happen all throughout the season, and we can't control that. But it was fun and met a lot of people. Got to work out, worked on myself, got in better shape than I've been. And honestly, I feel great every day. I've stuck with that. I work out every single day. Um,
Yeah.
and I feel good all the time, especially after a workout.
And I always thought you got the nickname, I feel like you came one day at track
Yeah, it
and
came mainly from track, but
and
football started a fire.
you you ran warm-ups in blue jeans, and then Coach Owens was like, "I have blue jeans," and then,
Mm.
I feel like half the track team used it. I
I'd say
especially
it
did,
definitely came from track before it became
but
from football.
but football did make it to where the school actually
Yeah.
used it.
I feel like you could ask anyone in the school, not anyone, but a majority of the upperclassmen and those who know me could tell you, yeah, that's blue jeans.
Yeah.
I do love that. Um, yeah, it's ex- exciting to say the least. It's very nice, you know, being known throughout. I was actually kind of surprised how many people know me a lot of days. Um, it's kind of wild.
Yeah, you've talked about that before, how random people would come up,
Yeah.
or not even come up, but just know who you are.
I've heard people tell me, and I get told I'm popular. I don't really feel popular. I'm like, I don't talk to a ton of people. I mean, I know everyone. I'd say I'm pretty
Yeah.
chill. I could hold conversation with anyone, but I don't know. I've
I
never
would
really thought of myself as popular.
I thought about that, and I get asked that actually all the time by like my family. And my response is we're not the petty popular group. We're the I know everybody and will
Yeah.
talk to everybody popular group. So like,
Yeah, I've kind of
the lunch
thought.
table, everybody's, actually my sister said, "Aren't you guys just jocks?" And I was like, "No, but to be honest, we technically are
Yeah, I
because
mean, pretty
are
much.
jocks are just people that uh love sports and they hang out together. So,
Yeah, I
to
never
be
really thought
fair,
about it, but yeah, yeah,
I
pretty
mean, I
much.
guess we are just the jock group,
I
but
mean, I'd say everyone fairly well knows who we are. And I do love that. I do. When it comes up, I feel popular sometimes, but most of the time I don't give it any thought, and I'm just like, I'm just chilling. I'm doing what I do. I'm
yeah,
having a good time. I'm trying to enjoy the most of high school while it's here, and then it'll be gone. And I do enjoy it sometimes, but honestly, I think the time I'm spending in there would be so much better spent, working on myself, working on my business, you know, 100
that
different
leads
things I could do.
that leads to the question on if you were happy on everything you did throughout high school and middle school, like would you change anything?
The only thing I would change was I wish I would have started talking to people sooner, and I wish I would have cut my hair earlier. I wound up really I cut my hair in freshman year due to ROTC. They wanted me to have it cut, and I needed it shorter, so I cut it once, and then I got within the regulation of ROTC, and then people started talking to me more, so I started opening up to a lot more people, and,
I mean, I guess they were scared of your hair in 8th grade. I mean, it wasn't bad at all. I barely remember it. It was like a
yeah,
mullet type.
it was
It
long, it
wasn't
was
a
down to my shoulders.
Yeah.
I mean, it's long
I
for
can
me. I mean, I still miss
barely
it sometimes.
I barely remember it.
Yeah, playing the guitar, it's nice to have some hair you can sling around.
Yeah.
Yeah, drums as well. I love it, but it was so thick that it just it didn't really fit me as far as my personality. So when I got it cut, got it in shape, got it looking good, I keep it slicked back now, and I'd say it looks pretty good. I always get compliments on my hair. Um, I always get told
Yeah.
people love it, and that makes me really happy to hear. And which I hate when I do have to cut it because I still have to cut it often. You know.
Honestly, I mean, if I really thought about this question all day, I bet I could come up with a list of things that I would change. Um, Like, I dropped out of an AP class, ninth grade, just because I wasn't ready for it. I feel like I could have done it.
Yeah.
Um, just some basic things. I wish that I would I the biggest thing I probably wish was that I knew my body better. I was injured probably 90% of
Mm.
all seasons in high school, and just the feeling of wanting to grind so hard and and the fact that you can barely walk from shin splints is,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know,
pretty
it's a
bad.
nightmare. It really is. But honestly, it was the training. It was the type of training. Once you learn
Mhm.
your body and adjust to it, you'll be fine. And I wish I'd just learned that earlier. Because if it's your IT band that hurts, it's not your IT band directly. It's always the muscles around it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's never the direct problem. It's always around it.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I got lucky for the most part. The biggest injury I suffered, well, I didn't really get injured. So junior year of football, I sprained my ankle and my wrist, and it was nothing major. It was like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I mean, no, I don't even think I slowed down. I think I wrapped it and then put my glove on over the wrap and just kept going. I played wide receiver, just covered up, and, it wasn't bad. And then,
yeah.
this past year, though, I got worried a good bit because I wound up getting hit in my knee, and my knee started hurting me a lot. And for a good 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, I had to wrap my knee to have it not hurt because I don't know if I
Shit, man.
overextended it or something,
Mhm.
but I had to wrap it and try to keep it real tight and stiff so it wouldn't, you know, give me pain if I was landing on it wrong. It just wasn't any good. I know I wound up tearing it up a lot. Um, it was always bloody just about 'cause I'd keep getting hit there or, you know, it
Yeah.
was just a mess.
It is super rough on your knees when they go to tackle and then rip your body weight
Mhm.
sideways.
Oh, yeah, it's awful.
That's the one reason why I decided not to do it. Is just
Yeah.
it's horrible on your knees.
I would say it's really good, though. It's a lot of fun to practice, and, some days at school, you don't I don't get upset much, but if you're like, "I wanna do something," you get to look forward to, hitting someone after school. That was always great. I could look forward to that. That's for sure, like, "Oh, put me on the line. Let me at 'em." I would fight for that, especially last year. Man, I would hate to just stand there and, think about what I could be doing, so when I got out there on the field and got going, man, I had a good time with it.
Yeah, put them in the blender.
Oh, yeah, and I did, I went through a blender. I was on the receiving side of the blender at one point. Oh my gosh. They had me, little old me, running fullback, trying to get through the D line and past the O line, or through the O
Yeah,
line past the D line. My gosh, talk about a mess.
I remember you coming and after practice telling me the next day.
Oh yeah, it was fun too. Looking back on it, it was fun. At the time, it was kind of like, is this really what I'm doing? I could be doing other things, and you have me throwing myself in a pile
Yeah,
of pile of
you
big
were
old
mad.
linemen.
You were
Yeah.
mad but happy at the same time.
Well, it
You
it was
wish
the
that.
experience. I wish I had more experience with different positions.
Yeah.
I played some safety. I played wide receiver. I played fullback. I played corner. Um, I played a little bit of tight end. It's all a lot of fun. I never really did find my position though.
Yeah.
Something that I was truly enjoying doing. I loved receiver, but I feel like I'd have been a much better, corner, and I love playing corner, but, you know,
Yeah.
it's always up to the coach and, what they decide they wanna do, and a lot of days that just didn't line up with what everyone else wants to do.
Yeah. Practically in every sport at our school.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I remember running the 800 4x8, 8 mile and 2 mile the same day for almost one full
Mm.
season.
You can't do that. That's a good way to stay injured.
It was pathetically hard. I mean, you want to know something mental? Try racing 4 times in under 2 hours.
Mm.
That is hard. I mean, I was a little kid, so I used to have energy. I think that's why he did that, because I was just bouncing off the walls like every other kid. But that's also something weird about that. I used to have so much energy and like so much to the fact that where I could race 4 times in a day. I mean, it'd be pathetically hard and it'd be painful, but I could do it. And nowadays, I'm just looking at other kids. It's not like I don't have energy. I guess I'd save it because I'm looking at the kids and they're bouncing off the walls, playing tag and all that before practice. And then in my mind, I'm just like, why? You're gonna do horrible during practice. But I don't realize that that's how I used to be also.
Yeah. I would say that, I've retained most of my energy and built up more than I've had.
Yeah. So, what is something that you wish you did? Did you mean individual or us as a group?
Um, Probably more individual wise. There's several people I wish I would've talked to. Of course, females I wish I would've talked to,
Yeah, you
and
told me about that.
I just didn't wind up doing it. Um, I didn't care as much. I mean, I was interested, but I was like, "Eh." I used to be really shy, and I wish I wouldn't have been, but, it's all worked out in the long run. Up to this point, it's all been for good.
And that brings up a really big point. When you think of the past questions, like biggest accomplishments and progress, I used to be, I mean, I told you almost everything. I used to like somebody a lot, and I'd
Mhm.
get way too nervous to actually go up to them and talk to them. And I feel like all younger people are like that. They're like, "Ooh, I got a crush," but I heard from some wise person that crushes are meant to be broken. And I don't know, that just kind of inspired me to just walk up and say something. And yes, it was horrible. Yes, it was cringy. Yes, I embarrassed myself completely and went through this very pathetic, heartbroken, quote unquote, phase for like
Yeah.
2 months. I mean, it
Dang.
wasn't that my heart was broken. It was just that getting up was bland and it was gray. But
Yeah, I didn't have
go
anyone that really interested me. Um, Freshman year,
yeah.
I had a couple girls I liked, and I could tell they liked me, but I was always too shy to, talk to them or whatever.
Yeah,
And,
and that's also a thing. She used to like me. I just didn't move fast enough, which I wouldn't change anything. Even if I wish I could have done that, I honestly wish that I got rejected a little bit more. Because
I make it a game, really. I
just
really
getting
do.
really,
Yeah.
I mean, just getting rejected from that one person taught me so much and changed the way I actually thought and did things from then
My
on
boy,
out.
we gotta find you some girls. Yeah, I
Well,
haven't.
I'm not even looking for them now.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't either.
honestly, I'm kind of just done with them for now, which is it's good and bad. Um, I really wish, speaking of this question, what we wish, one of the things I wish I had was a little bit of experience in the dating world and all the relationships throughout high school. but because college is a complete different battlefield, like, and if you're inexperienced, you can get ripped off and um way worse situations, but you got to be smart. I mean, not everybody has dating experience in high school, and I'm completely fine with not finding anybody in high school. And I've changed my mental mindset as soon as I started watching these videos on how to fix yourself up. And then Andrew Tate got recommended to me. His mindset kind of rubbed off on me in a way, and I actually think that's great because now when I'm sad, I just kind of cuss myself out and tell myself to get up because nobody cares. So, in a way, it's easier to do things. I've built myself up to a higher level. I mean, it hurts a little that you get rejected from so many people, but at the same time, the the pain of regret on not asking is nowhere near the amount as the sting of rejection. I mean, the sting of rejection goes away literally that day, if not 2 days, if you don't have like an ego. Um, but denial could last for weeks.
That's what I've heard will be my downfall, will be my ego, my pride, or my confidence. And I don't
I
feel like
mean,
I have a big ego, and I don't feel very
yeah,
prideful, but I mean, my confidence, man, I think I could run against anyone and have the best confidence against most anyone.
in a way, I kind of we talked about this before. I know we have, but honestly speaking, a lot of successful people have a bunch of confidence in themselves, and I think that's interesting. If we both want to go into the same field, it would be beneficial to me more and a little bit towards you, but in this specific example, I mean, I have confidence. I just at a young age, I've always stayed away from that word and that feeling because
Mhm.
I was taught that it was bad, like you said, and that you could get too much ego and start going on a kill spree and all that. But because you don't have an overabundance, but you have a lot more than me. I feel like if we're paired up together long enough, I'm either going to change in that way, or just having it around you is better than having nothing because that builds at least some.
Oh, it's
Um,
definitely a good thing to have. I mean,
yeah,
I love it. I mean, I know I could do anything I even think of. Not even just like, "Oh, if you believe it, you can do it." No, it's like, if I wanna do something stupid, I'm gonna do it just because I know I can.
yeah.
I
And
mean,
it's taught me a lot of actual life lessons on some of the things you do because I'm an analyzer. I like to analyze people and
yeah, I
why they do it,
understand.
what they do. So when you do something like that, I just think about why or what. And when my brain's like, I don't know, just because he wants to, I'm just like, well, I mean, I guess you can. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
there
true.
is no reason,
Yeah,
but
it comes down to one of my favorite Jack Sparrow quotes. There's things a man can do and things a man shouldn't do. And I love that. I've said
that's a
it
good one.
to several people. Um, and I've had people ask me why I don't do certain things, and that's what I'll tell them is I know I could. A lot of other people do, but I don't want that to be what I do. So
Yeah.
I don't do
And
it.
honestly, that is why I think that is the most important thing that you could have in like a partnership or a teamwork is if you had I mean, having the same goals is like basically why you would have a partnership with someone. Um, but having the same morals is super rare. Um, I mean, you could go out right now and try looking for the best friends
Oh
and
no, that's what's scary
partners and
is
groups
trying to
with the
find
same
people.
morals. Yeah. So the fact that we have almost the same morals, I mean, if one of us gets tested, there's always going to be another one of us to just kind of bat it out the way. Because I mean, we're gonna falter at some time.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I
But
mean, it's inevitable.
Yeah, but that's why you stack people next to you that can swing it out the way.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, if
that's
you have
super
a lot
important.
of like-minded people all working for one thing, and then you start to get distracted, just being around those mind and goal-focused people is going to set you straight almost immediately, because you don't wanna be the weakest one in the room, and you wanna contribute as much as you can to your team. So you're working as a team, but you're ultimately competing to improve yourself, which
Yeah.
ultimately improves the team as a whole.
Yeah, I honestly think that if we do decide to go um full on as a team that we could get super far.
Yeah, I'd
Because like
love
I
to find
said,
another 3 or 4 people, but
yeah,
it's
yeah,
really
because
hard to find quality people,
that won't
especially
just
while where we're at right
mm,
now.
that won't just sell you in in a ditch. And
Oh, yeah.
I mean it's going to be way harder to find that when you're successful, which is why you want to find them now. Um
Yeah, I'd agree because people suck up to you for money, that's for sure.
yeah.
That's
And at
100%.
least now they would leave or we would disagree, but honestly, I don't know if there's a chance that we could find other people. I mean, the easiest chance is brothers or someone we already know. But
Mhm.
I mean, we could network into somebody that actually had the same grind that we had, the same morals.
Yeah.
But it's something super rare. So
The key is just, meeting these people at the right time because I
yeah,
feel like at some point everyone gets like this and some people hold on to it and others will just let it go because we've all had this idea of, you know, what we want to do, how we want to do it. Everyone wants to be successful in some way and I'd say most people know the way to do that is through hard work, but
yeah,
they get lazy or no one supports them and they'll quit before they find anyone to work with and then they just will never try again and
yeah.
they'll ruin themselves ultimately. They kill their own potential.
But most definitely having four people is the sweet spot. I mean, two people's good, but 4 to 5 people is definitely a sweet
Yeah.
spot for, and when I mean grind, I don't mean like people that want to work like 5 days out of the week. I mean, you have to dedicate hundreds of hours, maybe even um your whole 12-hour schedule for maybe even a week or two um to even get progress, which is, I mean, that's how you do it. That's how it
Hmm.
is.
There was this
Other
saying I had that I liked a lot. It was two's a party, three's a crowd, four's a society, and five people, four will get together and find hatred toward one of the members. So
Yeah, that's
it's
usually how
it's
it
like
goes.
human programming has been this way since the caveman times. It's like you can
Yeah.
see that if five people get together, four of them probably gonna gang up on one of them. I mean, it's just don't be the weakest link.
I
you
mean,
know.
you're saying that, I mean, how else can you say it? I mean, you can be the weakest link at the moment, but if you're not trying to grow, then there's
When
just no
you're
point.
weak, appear strong, and when you're strong, appear weak.
That is correct. I feel like I'm not the weakest. Um, I don't think that there is a strongest in our group, and I think I've told you this. A lot of groups have like one person that lead, like popular groups have that one girl boss, and then he's got like girlfriends
I
under
would say
her,
it's
and
more for
they
girls.
follow, yeah, the pyramid scheme, and
Mhm.
some of it's for boys and like alpha men and all that.
I would
But
say I would
in
say, man, it comes down to physical strength and intelligence, and
mm,
if it's fairly balanced, then okay, but there's always different scenarios where
yeah,
someone else will lead, and it just depends on do you know someone that someone else doesn't know, and in that situation, the person who knows more people would kinda be like the lead in that
yeah,
scenario. So I'd say it alternates very frequently between different situations more than there
Yeah.
isn't one. It just varies so often that there is no just, "Hey, this is what this is."
Yeah, and at the same time, you wanna build, like you wanna aim to build a group without a leader in a way to where,
Oh, yeah, everyone should be able to lead
yeah,
in some way.
everyone should be a super strong character to where if somebody else from a different group was looking in on your group, they wouldn't be able to truly decide who was over that group. And that is a group that you want to keep because when you have multiple strong people like that, nobody will ever dare mess with you, first off.
Oh, yeah.
And second off, you almost always have a little bit of everything: physical strength, intelligence, um,
Yeah.
adaptability,
And when things
because,
get hard, you always know who's gonna stand by your side, especially when
yeah,
things get hard. I mean, you could just see it, and, I've experienced it before when stupid stuff will happen, and I'll be like, "Oh, everyone else is gone, but someone stayed," and I know I can rely on that person, and I know if
yeah,
crap hits the fan, we can fight, and we'll fight. We'll
yeah.
fight till we
Honestly,
can't fight anymore, and we won't stop.
I had a mindset, and I keep getting these information and advice, but I used to have a mindset of um never fight under any circumstance, right? But that also builds no respect under any circumstance. When it gets to a, a position or when it gets so far down the road, you eventually are going to have to.
Yeah, you have to
So
pick your
I
fights.
used I used to think, if what would I do if somebody in my friend group got in a fight for just a reason I didn't know? And it used to be like I just watch it out and kind of break it up. But I don't know, the more I look at it, the more I
Shoot,
just feel
I
like
feel
that's
like you have to
completely
join
wrong.
in.
Yeah.
If you're
That
friends with someone and they stalk someone, I feel like you gotta hop in and hit them again.
yeah, maybe not even the same person, just some random
Alright.
person, but but
Well, I mean, I wouldn't just it has to be someone, that you can see aggression in people, and if someone seems upset, or especially if it's 2 guys against your 1 guy, I mean, you gotta jump up and, ask questions later. It's like the Crusaders said, "Kill them all and God will sort them out," you know?
Mhm.
Hit them all
Yeah.
and they'll figure it out later.
Yeah. That's what my mindset's changed to. I was just gonna protect and then ask, even if it was his fault. Like, it probably didn't really deserve a punch in the first place. So,
Yeah, probably not. You definitely have to be careful, though. Um, I try not to fight because of how stupid the school system is, and if you defend yourself, you get in just as much trouble as the aggressor.
yeah.
And it comes down to, was this a reason to actually, fight? Like, someone pushes you, yeah, you could get pissed off, say some words to them, but that's one of those reasons or situations where it's better just to, you're an idiot, let it slide, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's definitely tough, and I can say I hate stupid stuff like that happening. And
It's
if
kinda
I
set
saw
up
it
against
happen to
you.
someone, I would not tolerate it at all. But if it happens to me, I could be like, okay, they're just stupid. They don't know what's going on here. They don't know who they're messing with, type deal. So I'll let it slide.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to be very careful too. Um,
With what you say
yeah.
too.
Well, I've came very, very close to taking care of some business, and my first thought is always, can I talk this out? If no one's swung, then I'll be like, "Can I talk this out?" And then there are times where I would absolutely do it, and I was fully prepared to, and someone would be like, "No, it's not worth it."
Mhm.
But if that person would have said that they were hurt and they wanted it to be taken care of, I mean, it would have been nonstop. It would have been taken care of.
Thinking of an instant right now where it was actually a weird interaction. We were talking in this lunchroom. I don't know if you remember this, but this smaller guy comes up to you and just stares directly into your face,
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah, I remember that dude.
you're looking down and he's looking up and I'm looking at both of you like you're both idiots because I don't know what's happening. I thought you
That
knew
was
him and he
weird,
was
dude.
just
Yeah, the
messing with
dude with the, like, really
you. Yeah,
weird hair and the ball cap. I remember that, and he looked like he's looking for trouble.
yeah.
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
why. I guess he just could sense something, but as soon as your face started turning red, I like kind of stepped up next to you and I
Oh,
couldn't
yeah,
remember what
dude,
it
I'm
was.
bad. When my face gets red, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
happens in the weight room. I'm working out, my face will get red. But if I
I
get
thought
mad, oh my gosh, I'll turn cherry red. Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I don't even think you were mad. I just to me it was like a joke, like you guys knew each other. But then when I realized your face was starting to turn, I was like maybe
Well,
just
I can
nervous.
do it on command almost, and I think it intimidates people, to be honest. Sometimes because I'll just get to thinking, I'll get prepared. You know,
Mhm.
if someone wants a fight, they're gonna have a fight.
It's like
And
a
that's
Red
one
Dead.
thing. Some days I definitely do look for a fight, and there are
Yes,
days where you don't
you
wanna
crave it.
do anything stupid, yeah.
You crave
And
it.
then there are some days where I was sure I was about to beat the snot out of someone, and there have been multiple occasions where if they would have made eye contact, mm, it would have been a different situation.
Yeah.
And yeah, like sitting at lunch and the guy was squeezing the ketchup packet and exploding got in my hair. He didn't know it
Dang.
happened. And I thought he did it on purpose.
No,
Ooh,
he
man.
did do it on purpose.
Well, I didn't mean to squirt my hair though. I mean, that's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I love my hair. Don't
Yeah, I
mess
mean,
with the
well,
hair.
even if it wasn't your hair, if it was your clothes, like
I know.
really? I
I
mean,
had
he's
to
on the
walk away.
table.
I had to go, and I walked away, and I came back, and he didn't even know what happened still, and then he was just like apologizing, which
Yeah,
he's not a bad guy. And he was in the group, so I was like, okay,
yeah.
that had to be something stupid. There's no way he just did that.
Unquestionably
Yeah.
personal,
I
but
mean, you can't tell though. People do stupid things sometimes without thinking. I feel bad sometimes because I feel like I'll do something stupid and be like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't have done that," but it's too late now.
yeah,
It's already been done.
do that all the time, kind of like slamming my own hand in the door. Like, how do you not feel your hand? I
Gosh.
mean, but when you're
Yeah.
thinking of so many things and you think of something else, like I was probably thinking of 8 things, and that's just proof that
Mhm.
men do not multitask as well as women.
I would say no one really multitask successfully. I mean, you could do 10 tasks and only put 10%, but if you do one task, you can put in 100%. No matter what you do, if you break into multitasking, no matter how good you think you are, you're ultimately creating a divide between how efficient and precise your work is.
It's interesting you say that because I've been thinking more and more. My mind seems to be always foggy. Like I know I'm not tired. I'm a healthy person, and I was like, is it the food that we eat, or is it just the system of school that makes it
I
happen?
would say
Because
it's school for sure. It wants
when
to kill creativity and put you in just the, oh, you have to work, not you need to create.
that's
And
it's
we're
a
made
very
to be
in-
creative.
it's a very interesting thing because it's been happening since 4 or 5 years ago, and it's not like some days it's massive. Like some days your brain is like you could see if there was fog in your brain and you can't focus on anything. And if you can, it's only like stuff that doesn't matter, like video games and, eating. But I don't know, it's always frustrating and that's my number one goal as of now is to just reduce the amount of fog I have. I mean, it happened today in class for mechatronics. Yeah, I couldn't think.
I
And
didn't want to. I
it's
couldn't
kind of
stand to
like
sit there.
yeah, but it's kind of like somebody drugged me because it's not that I can't think, it's just I stare out in space And it also could be that, electronics does that because,
Oh,
your
yeah,
eyes
definitely.
completely stop and they stare at one spot. And I think that if you're on electronics for too long and you're too e- unengaged with the world, as you could say. I mean, you might think of something and then
100%.
stop thinking, stare into space, and stare at one spot.
Mhm.
And I asked my parents about that, and they're like, "Yeah, I mean, I did that, but not a lot." But I mean, we grew up with technology. I mean, they forced it on us in fourth grade, which is probably a
Yep.
little way too young to have like an iPad with
Yeah.
games and stuff.
Shoot. I remember when they taught us cursive and then they don't even teach cursive anymore.
Yeah, I can't even read
That's
it.
that's crazy. I could read it. I can write specific words and whatnot, and sometimes I will write cursive, but it's never fluent
Yeah,
cursive. It's always like, "Oh, I might get a word in here just because it's faster to write it cursively."
yeah.
And I don't even know that it's efficient cursive, it just looks similar to cursive. I mean,
Yeah, it's kinda like a slur.
I can sign my name and, ultimately, that's what you really need to know, but, I mean, it would be nice that was writing. If you couldn't write cursive, then you weren't considered capable of writing. That was like, you either write cursive or you don't write type deal.
Yeah. They had, like, typography, like, their way of writing was almost completely refined back then.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think we're about done for today. How about you? Anything
Good
else you
with me.
wanna look into?
I mean, I could talk for another 7.5 hours.
Yeah.
I think that we should hit some of the dumbest things we've done, and, our biggest regret, and then wrap it up, because those are some interesting things.
Alrighty. Well, you start us off. What's the dumbest thing you've done?
Well, I mean, like I said earlier, I don't think I have one dumb thing. I think I have a bunch of dumb things to the point where I can't remember what the dumbest thing I've done. I mean, I'm half blonde. Give me a break. So
No
last week
excuse.
I slammed my hand in a car door and it really hurt and it still does. I am the only one in the house that has broken my arm from dodgeball, of course. Dodgeball, out of all things. So
Mm,
that was pretty dumb. Um, I've I've gone, we've almost broken my car on the highway before.
mm.
Um, there's a lot of stupid things. Cutting trees the wrong way. It's more of like an everyday type thing, guys. You can't just I can't just describe like one area. It's all the time. But and I'd say probably, let's see. Do you have your dumb thing? Because I gotta think about that regret one.
Um, so I would say it's not a specific thing, but a mindset is just been waiting, good things come to those who wait, but you have to act when a situation arises. So the saying is, good things happen to those who wait, but not those who wait too late. It's a song. And
Like a
I
really
see a
good
lot
one.
of yeah, I see a lot of truth behind that. And I see several situations where I should have done something and it's like just I didn't do it, and I don't regret that I didn't do some of those things, but there's several things where I'm like, what if I did? Would that have changed my mentality or my ideas? Um, would I feel better if I'd have done those things? And it's more
Yeah,
like a blank space of what I could do versus what I do.
yeah. It, there's a the a bunch of stuff that I regret now that I've thought about it.
So, biggest regret.
Biggest regret, not that I can like control this one. But I guess it all leads back to how much time you have.
Mhm.
Um, I would probably say, I mean, I'm not terrible at doing this, but um, spending time with friends, groups, and family, it's probably not my biggest one, but it should be on the list because everybody needs to spend more time, no matter what how long you're doing it. Um, but one of the things I've regretted most is kind of like the family mindset. I don't think I've had it until this year. Everyone's like, you're so lucky you have a family, you know, treat them like a family. And they've always been super annoying and, you know, like meh, family, right? We have family, you know, they prevent you from doing this and this and this, but at the same time you get to do stuff. So I thought of it as like a literal liability and asset wise, whereas this year it just kind of clicked that, you're supposed to spend time with these people. You're supposed to know these people. They help you in life, and they're probably the only ones that will stick by
Oh,
your
yeah,
side
definitely.
until your death.
I
And
mean,
then
for
when
the
I
most part, I'd say so.
yeah, when I well, unless you got that family drama stuff, but when I started thinking about that, I was like, well, I wish I formed better bonds in the past because I would have had more time with those bonds. But
Yeah.
um, I mean, there's still plenty of time to do it, which I'm doing. But I also regret not um talking to as many people in a more friendly manner. There was a guy, he graduated, I think, 2 years ago, and his name was Thomas. I don't know if you remember him, but he had longer hair, and he would always like, you know, fist bump, high five, handshake, hey, what's up? Good morning, you know, like telling everybody good morning in the hallways. And I kind of looked up to him, and I wish I would have done that earlier, you know, talked to so many people in such a good mood.
Mhm.
Um, And I had one more, but it wasn't an important one, and I forgot it. But I mean, those are some general regrets that I have, and I'm not going to have a bunch of them right away because I mean, we're still young, but there's always stuff that we could have done.
The preventative maintenance, we'll call this.
Yes.
Um, so probably one of my biggest regrets for a long time was spending a large sum of money that I didn't have to spend on something I shouldn't have spent money on. Um, so when I was younger, I watched all kinds of like snake videos and loved the idea of owning a snake. So I took him, bought a snake
Yeah.
and I had him. I wasn't able to get the kind of snake I wanted. I wanted a ball python, and
Yeah.
they're really active snakes. Yeah, you might get bitten a couple of times, but hey, they're not gonna kill you. Um, Not at the size they were at. They get older and bigger. Yeah, you might have to sell them and really be committed, one or the other. But I wound up getting hmm, what was the name of that snake? What was the
Say
breed of that snake? I don't know.
what was his name, like his pet name?
Oh, I called him Jack.
Jack.
Yeah, I think it was a sand boa. I think it was Jack the sand boa, and he was really small, but I had trouble getting him to eat sometimes, and it was just new to me trying to take care of him,
Yeah.
and he would just hide in the sand all the time. I could like get him out every now and then. I'd carry him around in my pocket for a little while and just around the house and whatnot. And he uh he just liked to hide. He didn't want to do anything else. So
Yeah.
you know.
I guess that's how they are, just hide until they catch something, but
Yeah,
then I guess if you fed him that he just kinda got depressed that he couldn't catch anything.
yeah, it definitely got difficult and challenging to take care of him. And at one
What
point, I was
happened?
sure I was sure he died at one point. I was like, okay, I don't know what to do. So we checked on him. He was still alive, and we wound up giving him away to someone who has a couple of other snakes. So he's still around. I'm not sure where exactly. I know he's not far from one of my family's family members' houses.
Yeah, he's just
Um,
like,
so it's like
"Hey, watch this. I'm
family.
gonna play a trick. Play dead." And
Yeah.
then you come up there and he's like, "Ah, gotcha."
Yeah, I mean, I was, like, sure he was dead, and then no, he was fine. I think what scared me, though, is they don't have to eat all that often, and I would try to
Yeah,
feed him, and he'd never eat. I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's gonna die of starvation or something," and,
yeah, you just
yeah,
didn't know.
he just didn't eat. But it was really cool looking back on it, having a snake, and,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll probably never do that again. Um
What color was it? I assume it was the color of the sand?
It was a camouflage color, actually. He was, like a brown, green, and black, and pretty
Oh,
snake. I'm sure if I look, I can find some pictures of him.
so that would have sucked if you lost him in the yard.
And I never took him outside, and, releasing them in the wild is not good for the environment, especially if
Yeah,
they could reproduce.
it changes the whole chain.
Oh, yeah, and, I did think about that, and I was like, "No, I don't wanna do that." So,
Honestly, I have one question that I've actually wanted to hear from a whole bunch of people actually.
mhm,
If you and it could be you only, you choose. It could be the group you were with, but if your group, let's say, got like extremely successful, right? To where you could just buy stuff, like whatever you wanted. What would be something you would want to do with like a friend if you got that rich? Kind of like, I'll give you an example. Like one of my goals was to, and I actually told you in class today, was you'd buy a Chevy and I would buy a
mhm.
Dodge, and we would give it complete crap. Like we would, I don't know, test them out and go mudding or whatever, see which one's truly better just for fun. Um, I mean it'd be fun.
That would be. And, actually playing a video game, me and a friend did do that. We chose different car brands. I did Chevy, he did Ford, and we raced the cars. It was a lot of fun, it was just a video game. But,
Yeah,
if it came down to money not being an issue and I could do whatever I wanted with a group of people, I would say it would be to, um probably go out to an isolated area, buy a large sum of land, and probably build a house and just stay there as like a getaway, keep it off the map, low key, just a chill area to hang around.
yeah. I just thought of something that would have been cool. If we could get like 5 people in our group, right?
Mhm.
And we all had like a company, right? Or we all were working to our own success because we were
Mhm.
all together, we were pushing each other, right? So if we all got successful, we could all buy a house, right? So you could buy your I guess dream house out in the woods and build it or have other people build it, and then I could get like one someplace else, and if we ever go like business trips or anywhere, um, or we could all just completely hang in one house, like I
Yeah.
said, for like a month and then just switch around. Because then you have 5 different locations with different areas. You never get like nothing gets
Oh, yeah, that'd
old.
be fun. Work early in the morning, go out and party at night, and explore
I mean,
wherever we're at.
5 different places, and like in your spot, it depending on how far away it is, but we could just completely hang in the house.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be cool.
I'd love that. Yeah, it'd
So I
definitely
guess
be nice.
I guess the question is where we gonna get the other 2 or 3?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
very
I
hard, especially now. You just don't see many people with as much ambition. Now, I'm sure they're out there.
yeah,
But I feel
it's
like
just
ultimately they have to discover this for themselves. You can't force it
mm,
on 'em. Like, I've suggested self-improvement before, just looking at videos, trying to change your mentality. I know Hamza, is really good. Andrew Tate is, I like some of his stuff, but not all of it. Then,
yeah,
different podcasts are on, Spotify. You can find hundreds of them, just self-improvement, different thoughts and mentalities.
yeah,
Um
that would be the hardest part is actually instead of forcing them. I mean, you could find the perfect person with their morals, but you can't force them to do it.
Yeah, well, they
That's
have to find this for themselves.
yeah, on
They
both ends.
aren't born, they are made, and they have to be self-made. You can't try to be like, "Oh, do this," because 'cause they'll never do it. And if they do, watch the videos and just not care about it, they'll never improve anyways.
Yeah, but yeah, it depends on where everything goes in the future, but there's some pros and cons. There's definitely pros and cons. But have you seen some of the videos that not Andrew, but what's the other ones? The other brother?
Hamza,
Who?
oh, he's someone I listen to. He does,
Um,
podcasting YouTube videos.
it's Andrew Tate's brother.
Oh, Tristan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Tristan has some videos where they explain like why Andrew and Tristan are always together and why they do what they do, and it's actually really smart, and that would actually
Oh,
be
yeah.
like my dream type of situation is
Well,
where
I've
you can
kinda
do that.
Kinda heard the situation, they have one bank account. No one knows who owns what. It's just like if 5 of us own mediocre jobs and we all make 100,000 a year, but we all put that into a pot, no tax, that's 500,000. 2 years, you could buy a supercar, you could buy a nice house and all live there. And, you may not have that supercar every day, you share it, but if you wanna drive that supercar, you go in and drive the supercar.
But
And,
that goes in with I mean, they probably have endless amounts of money, so they can do that. But at the same time, I feel
well,
like
they
they
can,
did
but
that.
just normal people. If you
Yeah,
get 7 or 8 people together, I mean, that's $1,000,000 a year, assuming everyone's making at least 100,000 and are willing to, say,
yeah.
buy a
That's
nice house, work
that's the big
together,
part
try to
though.
accomplish the same goals.
That's why I think everyone should have 2. I think that you should have your own and that you should
Oh, yeah,
put
you
like
definitely
half
have
of
to
it.
be careful. You can't
Yeah,
trust people the
put half of
way
it
we would like
into
to.
yeah, I would see that's the thing. For if it was like me and you on the same one, I mean still I would put like half of it because it
Well, you
leads
have to
into
have your own funds.
yeah, we're doing different things. You might buy something that I would think would be useless, and then we might have like a useless argument from it. But I think in that way, because they both own all the businesses that they have, and if we did the same thing, I mean, honestly, we could do that.
One
Um,
thing I've always thought about was like a car shop. One of us can work on. This was an example. My papa's actually talked to me about this with my brothers. One of us works mechanics, one of us does body work, and one of us does paint on vehicles. And we could literally do everything a vehicle could need
yeah,
from a facility. And we basically have that whole business bringing in money from 3 sources of the same part. And
yeah,
because everyone needs stuff done to their cars. I mean, that's like a inevitable thing that's just gonna happen. But that raises the question too. Now that we're seeing more electric cars, I wonder if because I think they do want to
yeah,
go all electric.
they're gonna
I
have to
wonder
have
what
I mean,
those jobs go to.
it's gonna be the same thing. It's just instead of fixing engines, you're gonna be replacing and recharging batteries and,
Oh,
you know,
that'd be awful.
the
I mean,
wheels are
I would
gonna
say
be
I
the
could do that
same.
already,
Yeah, I mean, you could
it
do it
would
at
be
home.
a baseline, yeah. It
Yeah,
would be just a basic service. Be like getting an oil change. The only reason you would go anywhere else is just to
to get
for
it
the
faster.
convenience. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's a good example, and I honestly think that, um,
That's what my
I
papa's told us for years. He'd
I
love that.
think that the most efficient way would be you making your business and me making mine, right?
Mhm.
And as soon as one of us gets like up there, decently up there, we continue with the separate businesses, but we also come together and make another one where we both own it and we can both work on it.
I
Um,
feel like it I almost disagree. I'd say that's old backwards. Coming together and starting something would be better before branching off because you could put twice the effort into one thing and you learn all these skills of
yeah,
how to run a business, and then you could branch off and you still have all these skills
I guess
of
so.
how to do it.
Yeah, I guess I mean, I never really thought there could be like an order, but I mean, either way would work, to be honest. I mean, we're going the same place, but your way, I see what you're saying though. If it's easier done together because your workload is like
Yeah.
50% less.
Not to
Um,
mention too, we talk I've worked with places before where they don't ask you how much do you work per hour. They go, how many man hours is this? So if you have two people working 4 hours, that's 8 hours of work. Um, it's not really 8 hours, but it's 8 hours of man hours. You bring three people, that's 12, 4, 16, so on. So you could do more in less time if you have dedicated, goal focused people to work with you.
yeah. So leads me to the next question. Would you be willing to do that?
Um,
And if
yeah,
so,
I see
in
no
what
reason
way?
not to. Um, I would say the
Because,
hardest thing would just be looking for an opportunity to arise, and that's just, having the right mindset of a entrepreneur
mhm,
of where can I find opportunity and who can I get around that can open my eyes to things I would have missed? Because there's opportunity all around us. Like, um, when COVID happened, stock prices were going to drop
yeah.
and then they'd shoot right back up. So,
And that's
you could buy
something,
a ton of stock and then wait for 2 or 3 months, if that, and sell it all. Huge profit to be made. It's just you have
yeah.
to know to look for the opportunities of what's there.
I know, there's so many people predicting that the stock market and the real estate and all of that's going to crash within the next 5 years, right? So another one of my goals is I want to grind as hard as I can until that point is here. And
Oh, it's here now. I mean, we're
I
seeing
just,
the beginning
yeah, and
of it.
that's the scary part because that's when business kind of goes out the window. Like they only buy what they 100% need, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Um,
Well, also now's a really good time to be investing because the
yeah, which
stock
is why I wanted
value
to
will be
get,
down.
yeah. But that's why I wanted to grind money as fast as possible because you could buy houses when it drops. You can buy houses like that's exactly what Warren Buffett, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Um, that's exactly what he did. And we used to live in Malden, and he bought our house. His company bought our house.
Oh,
So
wow.
as soon as the 2008 stock market crashed, his company literally swooped in and just started buying thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of houses. And they just kept them, repaired them if they needed to be repaired, just kept them in order. And then when it started coming back up, they started selling them, and they made like billions upon billions.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
think about doing that. That's why I wanted to grind.
It'd be nice. I feel like once you have money, it's easy to make money. I've always heard the first 100,000 is the hardest to make. Like
Yeah,
that first 100,000 liquid money that you can spend, especially in a investing portfolio. It's that first 100,000 that really makes the difference.
yeah, and that's another good thing between uh the differences between you and me. It seems as if you know a little bit more about the types of investing. I mean, I know a good decent amount of stocks and what they are, but I like more of like the product selling. I like selling stuff. Like that's my type of thing. I
I
don't really invest at all. And if you're good at that, then it's perfect because we're like kind of opposites and I love selling and you might love investing and
I
that
do. I do
lines
love
up.
investing. I love venting out stocks, finding stuff I enjoy, looking at what I have, why I bought it, and then I look at if I have a iPhone and I buy Apple, I own part of this
Mhm.
company now, and I feel better about buying their product because I know it only increases their value.
Yeah.
And as far as selling, my communication skills are really good. I feel like I can talk to anyone, especially in person. My problem is, I've thought about joining up in a company to learn how to sell, um, just to do it because I don't have products to sell at this point.
That'd be
Um,
my thing. I would have to take a class. I mean, I love selling, right? I have the same thing you have. I love communicating. I don't love it, but I can do it with almost anybody. Someone's super dumb, someone super smart that wants to act smart.
yeah.
I keep my calm unless they do like a personal type of statement, and then I'm just like that was uncalled for. But I could talk to like anybody, and in some ways I can sell stuff, but I've just been working and working on it by there's always a famous movie quote, and it could be a real life quote. But it was a rich guy, and he gave a pen to the poor guy, and he said, "Sell me this pen." And
Mhm.
I've that like when I blank out of space, I'm always trying to think of different ways I can sell a pen to a rich person. Um, and the best way to do that is connect it with their status and with the status of the pin. But other than that, I really don't have like
I
strategies or ways that I could sell.
I got you. All right. So I've heard that before, and I've thought about that. The best way to sell a pen, or to sell anything really, is to create a need for that item. It's like, oh, hey, do I know you from somewhere? Can I get your autograph? You look really familiar. Oh, you don't have a pen? Here, I got this one. It costs $5. That's not much. It's a really nice pen. It writes very easily. It'll last you a long time, and they're super easy to get, and it's the ability to create a need for that item. Like you could sell manure to a farmer by saying, "Oh, this will help your crops grow. It'll make your yield 10 times. It'll produce fresher, more lush crops." And it's manure. I mean, they have cows, they have manure everywhere. But the fact that you're creating a need and the ease of access to purchase this will sell to them
Yeah.
if you can create a need. And the thing is, you can't ask people what they want and be like, "Well, what do you want?" and then go and make it, because by the time you've made it and have it produced, they don't want it anymore. They want something new. So you have to find something that you like and make it, and then find a way to market what you've made. Like, one of my favorite examples would probably have to be a drink. It's called Liquid Death. All it is water in a can. H2O, just water, and they advertise as Liquid Death, and it piques so much interest that thousands of people are buying this, and it's just water. That's all it is. It's just water. You can look it up. Liquid
Do
Death.
they get mad?
No, no, I mean, that's it. It's water. But it's funny though because, you know, it's crazy because all it is water. It's just water in a can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet I could find a gif of it. Hold on.
Oh my gosh, don't ever say that again. It is never GIF. It is a
What?
GIF. It's always GIF.
That's not it, but that appeared, so that's what you're getting. The
Yeah.
can looks similar to that.
Yeah.
Help
That's
if I could
interesting.
type.
I think it was the logo that, or the brand that made it like sparked curiosity with people,
Oh yeah,
and then
I
they
mean the
just bought
can
it.
is very eye catching.
That just proves to you that you could honestly sell anything. I mean, there's
Oh
so many
yeah,
dumb people out there
100%.
that you could literally sell. I mean, people sold pictures of their feet for like millions of dollars. Are you kidding me? Like,
Hey, people
if
like
you can,
feet.
if you can sell feet, you can sell literally anything. So, so yeah, what do you think the game plan is though? Um, about that topic earlier. Um,
Which one specifically?
so uh, you had mentioned that the best way is to own one business together. And I think we said more, obviously, but um, I can't quite remember how far into it we were. But what would be? See, the thing is I don't know what you're on. I think two different things. You're on YouTube, right? You're focusing on YouTube now,
Yeah.
and you have a shirt website,
Mhm.
and those are your focuses, right?
Um, for the most part, but right now it's solely just YouTube.
Yeah. So mine's going to be YouTube and Amazon's. So in a way, we both have YouTube, but we both have different ones. So which one, excuse me, which one would you prefer that we would both do? Would it just be YouTube or one of
Um,
the other ones?
I would say it would be one of those things where we could joint and come together, such as I gain audience, you give sponsorship, we both win in the end. You get more sales, I get percentage profit.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
it's not doing the same thing, but it's using each other and
As
our
you, yeah.
skills to bring in more income. So one of the best things, best ways I've heard, or a saying I've heard is when the gold mine hits, be the man selling the shovels. You know, it's stepping in between the cash flow. So the cash flow is people. The goal is gold, and you're stepping in between the money moving by selling shovels. You're stepping in the middle of the cash flow. So there's cash flowing everywhere, every single day. You just have to have the eye to see it, and that's ultimately the goal is looking for opportunity to intervene with these money flow uh pathways.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was just a little confused on your views of that.
Yeah. There's infinite ways to use everything because I feel like most anything can be scaled to be a multi-million dollar business. And that's one of my goals. I want to get big enough where I don't I look at YouTube as my business, but I want to be able to buy out another business like Warren Buffett has See's Candies, and he
Yeah.
could take all the profit from that company and spend it however he sees fit because the company's so established and it works without him so that it gains value, it produces income, and he doesn't spend much of any time on it at all. I don't think he does much. I mean, he might give money for maintenance, but he basically takes all the money, all the pure profit for himself, and then puts it into stocks in different areas of his, companies.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
interesting. Yeah, I mean that'd be a sweet spot for me too. And honestly, some of the things I've heard, and another smart way to do it is what the so let's say if you have a business, right? And
Mhm.
for me, I think I might be selling water bottles soon. So if I'm selling water bottles, correct? When I
Mhm.
get to that level, the smartest thing for me to do is buy out something that can make water bottles for free. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have a business and all of your workers, go through pens like it's water, and you always have to get them pens, and you're a multimillionaire, right? And your business is doing quite well, you buy out a pen company, right? So now you ship like a specific amount of pens to the company you have, and now you don't have to pay for a single pen because you own the company.
Yeah. Well,
And
that would just
and you
come
sell the
down
pens.
that would just come down to, like, would that be more cost efficient than just
Yes, yes. But it's
buying the
another
pins
good
as is?
way. It's another really good way because if you The Office, the Office, they go through paper because that's exactly their job, right? Papers and printers, they probably have like hundreds of them throughout like a business as you would generally have. Um, but I think the most beneficial thing to do in that niche is to buy a paper company and a printer company, supply your company with free stuff so you get more profit with the same amount of things on your first company, and you get to sell both products from the second company. So, I mean, it's just a little strategy. It doesn't help like tremendous, but you do have to have quite a bit of money to like
Yeah, and
put it.
that's the hardest thing is just getting started.
Yeah. But honestly, I have lots of doubts, but lots of hope for my future brand. I'm putting way more work into it than a bunch of other people do.
Yeah, the way I look at it is I am my own brand. That's
Yeah.
how I kinda advertise,
I
and I
mean,
have ideas that I can work toward, and there's things I wanna do now that I know are just not possible at the moment, but I have them in mind, so I know it will be capable of scaling to the point I want it to be at, because I've seen other people do it, and I know I can't copy them, but I can do it my own way and make it work.
yeah. I just had an idea. What if I made a vending machine that sells metal bottles of water, and it had a water fountain um that you could fill the bottles of water up in.
It could work. I've heard vending machines is a really good, um, area to get into because you can buy them, and they're not terribly expensive as long as you keep maintenance on them. You can,
Yeah, like
keep
the
them
one
up to
in
date.
Career Center.
Yeah.
But yep, I think I gotta go.
Alrighty. Well, I'd say that's pretty good. I'll get this uploaded, um,
Hit
tomorrow
me up.
or Thursday. So, yeah, we'll see which comes first.
Ready? I'm gonna count
Alright.
down from three. Three, two, one.
Back to
Back
the
to the grind.
grind.